All right. Well, I'm here with Joe Logalbo from Live Anabolic, and I'm really excited to talk to him about LTV numbers. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing awesome, Tyler.
I was looking back uh, at Stripe today, and I saw that we started working together in May of 2020. So
Yep.
what? It's been about nine.
Close to a year.
Yeah, we're coming up on a year.
Getting there.
Coming up on a year.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Feels like it hasn't even been that long.
Yep.
So I'd love to start by just talking through what your business looks like. So what kind of products do you sell? Are they low ticket? Are they high ticket? What's your overall funnel? Your
hmm
advertising strategy, just the general background on how your business is set up.
Yeah. Well, Live Anabolic is it's a fitness company for men over 40, and so with that, we have several digital programs that we sell. These are typically the programs that we have on the front end. That are more so the face, the front window of the company. And then we also have about six, coming up on seven supplements that we have on the back end that we use to support these guys to get even better results with the programs that they're using. Um, so these are specific supplements that are geared for those men over 40, and they're buying them anyway, and we're thought, hey, can we make these formulas any better? Can we accelerate the results on our own instead of promoting some other product? And we're able to do that. So it's a combination, man. It's a combination of digital products as well as physical supplements, and we've also just started rolling out a high ticket one-on-one coaching program. So
Oh,
we're
nice.
really opening up everything, everything that we can do to help these guys. That's what we want to do.
That's great. Okay, so if you take us back to early 2020, before we
Mhm.
started working together, what did your business look like back then, and what were some of the challenges that maybe you were dealing with for growing and scaling?
Yeah. So back then, which, man, it's crazy. It feels so much longer ago because there's been so much growth over the past 9 months. With having tools like LTV numbers, which I'll talk about in a second here. But so we had probably two supplements at that time. We had an offer that we were doing at a smaller scale with our Facebook ads, and we kept running into an issue where just not knowing our numbers well enough to say, okay, well, here's the lifetime value of our customer, or here's what our email is making up on the back end, to really justify scaling any more than where we were at the time. For me, it was just I am so not a numbers guy. I mean, Tyler, from the conversations we have that I think a lot of entrepreneurs are so much in the creative, so much in the offense in terms of producing more offers and whatnot. Especially me being not only a business owner but a copywriter, so to speak. So I'm always kind of on that offensive, and I'd never take the time needed to be like, okay, well, how can we really dial in these numbers to help us scale further? And so I was the bottleneck of our own company, really because of that. So I would say that probably the biggest hang up where I was at that time in my business was knowing the numbers and feeling confident to increase ad spend or whatever the case is, having the confidence to actually move forward and try and really grow the company to larger scale.
Right. Absolutely. I've found it's a very common place that a business gets to, in my
Mhm.
experience, where things are working and you have a lot of really good pieces of the business, and maybe you're even running ads profitably or close to profitably. But then you kind of get into that no man's land where it's like,
Yep.
okay, do I just take the leap and go and hope that, the
Yep.
numbers hold as we grow? And that's
Right.
where you really need to have the data to back up your decisions. So
Yep.
is it
That's
fair to
exactly
say
what
that,
it felt like, by the way.
yeah,
It No man's land is a great way to describe it because that's where I felt. I didn't have any numbers give you almost a grid, almost like like a boundary that you can follow, like a path. But without the numbers, was in literal no man's land. I didn't know, okay, where am I going now? But numbers, help give me a path forward. So that's a great description right there.
Okay, very cool. So then that's a good transition into, given that challenge and the goals that you had for the business, why did you feel like it was the right time to give give LTV numbers a try?
Well, I'd been listening to a lot of, just being in a couple different masterminds, just listening to what these guys are doing at a greater level of where I'm trying to get to. You know, it was one of those things where it's like, look, you need to know your numbers. You need to be able to look at the data and make data-driven decisions instead of just, guessing or hoping for the best, or, because depending on what sort of scale you want to reach, if you're just guessing, it could actually tank your business.
Mhm.
So it's one of those things where I had to decide, look, if we're going to go any further, I need to be confident in the numbers that are coming into my business. And at the time, I had no way of tracking, for example, what how much revenue was coming in through emails. Which email is responsible for how much revenue, or is this revenue just coming from a YouTube video, or is it coming from a Facebook? Like, I didn't have any idea. I had a decent idea on the day one value of stuff like our Facebook ads.
Mm.
But in terms of the back end stuff, I really had no value or no understanding in terms of, hey, which emails are doing the best, where's the revenue coming from. And that's where LTV numbers really upped my game in that area. And like I said, I'm not a numbers guy. So the fact that I can just look at lines and look at these spreadsheets that are so easy for someone like me to just pick up and be like, okay, well, this is a good day. This is, the data I'm getting here is pointing me in a certain direction, guiding my decision making. That's certainly, I mean, it made a world of difference.
Right. And I believe from the conversations that we've had, you were doing paid ads on, I know, Facebook for sure. And you also have affiliates that you work with.
Yep.
And so,
Hmm.
and you have your email program. So you have a lot of different traffic sources that you're making sales through, and a lot of different breakdowns within each of those platforms, right? Like a bunch of
Yep.
different ads that you're running, a bunch of different affiliates promoting your product. So you mentioned that you kind of had an idea for day one value, but why
Hmm.
was it so important to know the long-term LTV and to be able to see it at all these different levels of detail?
Well, again, I think it comes back to this word of confidence and certainty. So it's, being able to, okay, yeah, I know my day one, but if I, so say I'm bringing in, 100 sales a day at a certain AOV, and I know day one, hey, it's profitable, which is how I like to run. I don't like going in the hole. That's not really some guys have a stomach for it. I'm not really one of those guys who's like, hey, let's push it 30 days. But I am willing to push it 7 days or 14 days. But I would never know, okay, what's my 7 day LTV? What's my 14-day LTV? So that we can maybe spend more money to acquire a customer, maybe break even on the front end on day one, but make that profit back on day 14. And this, being able to have these numbers allows us to be able to spend more money to acquire a customer. And if you're willing to spend more money to acquire a customer, chances are you're going to be in the game longer, or you're going to be able to acquire more customers from someone who might tap out at a much lower CPA.
Absolutely. Yep, that's the name of the game, whether it's paid ads or affiliates. If you
Yep.
can spend more to acquire customers, it's going to give you that much more of an advantage over everybody else.
Absolutely. And it's becoming, the thing to have in your business is knowing your numbers. You can't really Facebook used to be such an easy channel to profit on. Not that I was in during those days. My business isn't that old where it's like it was Facebook's glory days where you can basically just throw up an ad and you're profiting huge on day one or whatever. Now you really got to know your numbers. You really have to be able to get things dialed in. And it's just, I would say that anyone who thinks that they can get away, scaling a business without having the precise numbers, again, you're going to walk into some tricky waters, and it's going to be really hard to navigate if you're, and get out of, and hopefully it doesn't tank the business, but like, you want to make sure that you're getting this stuff dialed in as soon as possible.
100%. Okay, so it's been, well, we said about 9 months now. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe you've actually had some record days or weeks or months, if I'm not mistaken, recently. So what would you say the impact has been of using LTV numbers in your business?
Well, it's been huge for many reasons. One of the big ones for me is our email program, which we have hundreds of customers coming in a day, but now with LTV numbers, I know what emails work best for these customers who are coming in to provide revenue with our supplements. And before then it was just a shot in the dark for me. And I like I said, I do some copywriting, so that you think every email is a winner. Every email's got some legs to it or produces a nice chunk of, guess what, it doesn't. It does. There's days when I'll look at my LTV number stats and I'll say, okay, this email tanked, I'm never putting this into the never putting it into my email broadcast again. But say I had a great day with my autoresponder, I might think like, wow, that broadcast email was amazing, but it was really my autoresponder that was bringing in the revenue. And before LTV numbers, I had no way of knowing where this revenue is cut, so I couldn't make data driven decisions on my own emails.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say one big needle mover for our business has been being able to optimize our monthly emails and knowing, okay, these are the ones that we know are going to bring in revenue because the numbers tell us how well it converts, what the AOV of the customer typically is off of an email. And this allows us to then take some of those emails and go to affiliates and or maybe use some of those email creatives for ads. I mean, the amount of value that you get from just seeing those numbers, even just from your email program, you can use it in all these different facets of your business, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then from the cold traffic side, obviously, just being able to track our LTV. We had no way of doing that before. So it's I had a spreadsheet where I would just get the data from the ad itself on day zero. But the what's cool about LTV numbers is even that day zero, it might be, for example, $50. Say it's your AOV is $50 on day one, just from the Facebook ads. It might be $52 actually because they're buying your supplements on that day one as well in that first email. I never had that information until now, and I'm able to see those things and able to relay it to our awesome media buyers and just be like, hey, Facebook, for 7 days from now, we are up. I think our 30-day LTV is I think it's like $12 or more higher than our day one. So there's obviously, if I had the stomach, I could do something there, but it still gives me the stomach to push the bounds a little bit more than I normally would, or call timeout and say, hey guys, pause these ads or whatever, and screw up our scales. So overall, man, LTV numbers has been a really big part of just, again, confidence and certainty for an entrepreneur who is not the best with numbers, who doesn't really want to hire a CFO right now. This guy, this tool is really my sidekick, and it's helping me a lot.
Man, that's really great to hear. And I just want to highlight that point, because when you say you're not a numbers guy,
Mhm.
what you also mean on top of that is you're not a super technical person. You're not
Right.
someone that's going to get in the weeds, look at a bunch of data, do
Mhm.
analyses yourself, right? You need something
Correct.
that's easy to consume and easy to use, yet still gives you the insight that you need to make good decisions. So
Absolutely.
if you could just speak a little bit more as someone who, has the background that you do, where you don't want to get down in the weeds, how easy is it for you to use LTV numbers and then make decisions from it?
Well, I mean, it's as easy as logging in. Like, so, like I kind of mentioned earlier, me, I'm more of the marketing mind, copywriting, offensive. How can we acquire more customers? What other products can we come out with for the back end to support our customers? So my mind is just always, I mean, 99% of the time, it's always on the offense. And that means I have a lot less time, unless I make time for it, but a lot less time to, like you said, be in the weeds and really look at the data and, pick all these different pieces out. It's just not spreadsheets or looking, trying to just dig up and all this. Man, I hate spreadsheets with a passion. And all these little formulas that you put in these documents and all this stuff. Like it's just not my thing. But honestly, LTV numbers is as easy for me as just being able to log in, choose a certain, if I'm looking for data on certain ads, whether it be Facebook versus YouTube versus Google, I'm able to just with a few clicks have all of that in front of me and confidently know these numbers are accurate, and then be able to make a decision right there with, and this all happens within minutes. I mean, within 5 minutes I can make a decision that would have in the past, if I was getting into the weeds, would have taken me hours, and at the same time it would have also been likely inaccurate.
Mhm.
So there's two really big things I love about LTV numbers, and those are that it's accurate. For one, you can be confident with the data that you're getting, and two, that it's fast. I'm not spending all this time on spreadsheets and whatnot that I frankly don't have time for.
Absolutely. And that's really such a big thing, is to have the ability to see insightful, meaningful data, but also have that data be accessible quickly and easily. When you
Hmm.
put those two things together, it's really, really powerful. And
Yeah.
that's the whole point of LTV numbers, really, is to bring those two together and make it easy. So I'm really glad to hear that it's been that way for you.
Yeah. It's been fantastic, man. Like I said, it's been um, kind of my sidekick in helping me get the numbers that I need quickly, and it helps. It takes the stress out of making decisions. For me, numbers would stress me out. Like I said, I probably would have had to spend a lot of money hiring someone to get these numbers for me, but now I have a software that basically does all that work for me. So I'd say not only does it do those great things where it's accurate, saves me time, it's saving me money too. So overall, I just can't even. I mean, it's a game changer. I don't know why someone wouldn't use a product like that. It's been great for me.
That's amazing to hear. It really makes me so happy to hear things like that. That's why I spent the time in putting this together. So thank you for that. Just a couple more quick things, if you don't mind. I know you've been around the marketing space for quite a while,
Mhm.
and so you've probably come across, or been referred to other analytics tools in the past.
Mhm.
Is there anything in particular that you've seen on the market that does something comparable to LTV numbers?
I'll say that although I've been in the marketing game for a while, I haven't had a ton of experience with other, with other softwares. And that was my problem. To be honest, I struck gold when I decided to work with you, because you guys were really my first software that I've used.
Mhm.
Um, So I'll say that for me, it was kind of like I said, striking gold right away. So I wish I could speak more to that, but I'm glad I can't speak more to that because I made the right decision on the first try. So
Well, hey, I'll take it.
yeah.
No worries at all. Okay, so last thing, just to wrap up, would you recommend the experience of not only using LTV numbers but also working with me personally?
Absolutely, man. So let me just speak to working with you for a second. So when setting up LTV numbers, I mean, you made it super easy for me. I think you asked for like a couple logins and that was it. And then you set everything up for me and it was good to go. But the communication with you has been fantastic, and really describing and showing me how this software works. It was really easy. So it's and really the amount of excellence and time that you've poured into this really does show. And what's interesting is how, for me, and you'll have to explain sometime how you figure this out, but a guy who is so um, data minded, someone like you, how you were able to somehow get in the mind of someone like me and create something for someone like me that replicates the skills that you have. I have yet to understand how you're able to do that, because usually you see people who are just totally black and white. Like, for me, again, super creative mind, in terms of marketing and things like that. Numbers, not my thing. Yeah, I don't know where you're at with your marketing mind. I know it's better than others, but I know that your data, you really understand data and look at it in a way that I could never see it. And it's amazing how, instead of that just black and white, you're only good at looking at data and not able to bring it into a way that everyone understands. You really know how to speak simple language for someone like me, and it shows in LTV numbers because it's so simple to use. So yeah, man. I mean, I couldn't recommend you enough, and LTV numbers enough. It's just been a pleasure working with you. But also using your software again has been just such a great tool for my business, and I'm so glad that we added it last year. Or else I can assure you we would not be where we are now.
Jeez, man, Joe, that that's like the best compliment you could have given me. That really means a lot. Thank you.
Yep, I mean it, man.
Okay, well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk through all this stuff. I'm so glad that it's been able to help you in your business. It's been really fun to watch your growth too, from my perspective, and I'm so grateful that I get to be a part of it. So thanks a lot, Joe.
I appreciate you, Tyler. Thank you. And here's to, scaling more and more, and reaching new levels of success, not just for our business, but for everyone who uses LTV numbers, as well as for you, man, and this awesome product you have. I hope it touches so many businesses, and I know it will.
Wow. Well, here's to another awesome year. Thanks a lot, Joe.
Absolutely.